a tailor. I make everyday clothes for the town. 3 other women work with me. 2 of them are apprentices ages 9 to 13. As apprentices, they learn to sew, cut, and fit clothing. I also work with the milliner. She does all the finishing touches on my work, such as ribbon, lace, and buttons. I serve everyone. If they can pay me, then I can make them exactly what they need. Now, I'm going to talk about my trade. For men's clothing, I make coats, I make doublets, which is a vest-like piece of clothing. I make breeches, which are knee-length pants, and I make cloaks and hunting coats, usually made out of leather or linen. For women's clothing, I made stays. Women would wear stays after having a full meal and gaining weight. They would wrap it around their waist and tighten the cords in the front or back to make themselves look skinnier. I also made gowns, the outside, and I made skirts like this. And I made wrapping gowns. Women would wear wrapping gowns over their nightwear just before going to bed, sort of like a robe. I rely on many, many people. Here are some of the people I rely on. First, I rely on all the colonial people. They buy my products and I get money. I also rely on the blacksmith. He gives me pins, scissors, and needles. I also rely on the milliner. As I said before, she does all the finishing touches on my work. And I also rely on the silversmith for buttons. Now, there are also many, many things that could happen if I didn't exist. One thing that might happen is that people might have to make their own clothes. Or the milliner might have to do more work. Or the world might only have undergarments and fancy, expensive clothes. Okay. Now, I bet you're wondering where I get all of my fabric. Well, fabrics were very natural in colonial times. The primary fabrics were linen, wool, and cotton. People who grew cotton, sheep, and flax would spin their own thread. Then they would weave that thread to create a milky white cloth. Very plain. But then they would dye the cloth different colors with exotic plants and berries, like this. These are some of the traditional fabrics that I might use. And you can look through the rest. Thank you for visiting my shop, and I hope you have a wonderful day in colonial Wittgenstein.